Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to work on what I call a coin purse because that's what I use mine for. And it's this little triangle type purse. It has lining on the inside, a zipper up the front, like that. The only difference is I'm going to try to do the most simplest one, but also have a little bit of body to it. So let me show you what I'm using down here at the table. To begin with, we're going to pick out some fabrics. I'm going to use these fat quarters. I like the way the colors go together, so that's what I've chosen. Now let me show you. The very first thing I did was I chose, out of those 3 sets of fat quarters, I went ahead and I chose these 2. I cut them down to 10-inch squares. For this one here, they can be any size you want. I'm just going to make this simple. I went ahead and I used this 808 Pellin. It's got fusible on one side, which you can see it's kind of shiny. And this is the stuff that I used when I made the Valentine card. And after you leave it a minute, after you've ironed it on and everything, it gets stiff. So it's not like stiff as a cardboard, but pretty stiff, meaning you can tell how it wants to stay straight. It's not like floppy. All right, here it is on the back, already ironed. And then what I'm going to do is on these, and if you note here, let me show you real quick. I cut them a little bit smaller than the size of my square because I don't want that fusible getting on my ironing board. So I had to use a piece of protective, I use vinyl. You can use, and actually you can use another piece of fabric over the top of this. You can use origami, anything that you want. Not origami. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Organza. Over the top of this, which is, I can't find mine offhand. I probably got it buried over to the left. But anyway, so I cut these 2 fabrics down that I like. So I'll have a lining as well as an outside. I got a zipper. So I'm just using this zipper here. I have a whole bunch of really long zippers. And it's better to have a zipper too long than it is to have one that exact size because you want to be able to cut it off. All right, let's get started. Origami. So I went ahead and I put some yellow thread at the top of this. Now keep in mind, it's only got that fusible on the back side. It doesn't have layers or anything. I don't have a story because I just started a new book. And I think she's got 3 books. I got all 3 of them, but I'm just now starting it for the first time. And so I'm not going to tell you that story, but I want to tell you before I started this video. I've already started this video 3 times, for heaven's sakes. And just talking about origami, that right there tells you the kind of day I've had. It has been really something, and it's not even noon yet. But anyway, so I went to the Jiffy Lube to get my oil changed on my car. And when I'm in there, we go ahead and we get it all done. Everything's worked, everything's fine. And I don't know if this happened nationwide where all the credit card machines went down. Just so happens I happen to have enough money with $1 to spare to get the oil done. So I said, okay. He said, we're taking cash only. Well, of course, I don't carry my checkbook with me, so it's like, all right. So I had it. And then he comes out and he goes, and he had a picture. Now, we're sitting in the car, mind you, because you don't have to go in anymore. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do some meandering on this. Nothing special. Make sure that when you have your machine, you've either covered up your feed dogs. That's what this is right here. Or you've put them down. Depending on your machine, it might be around the backside where you've got to drop it. Mine's electronic. I just push a button and it automatically dropped it for me. And make sure that your tension's right. Now, this really isn't that much of a change. This is like having probably, think because of the stiffness, it's like about, I don't know, a stiff piece of fabric, I guess. So your tension shouldn't change that much, but you can test it out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go with what I've got here. It's not going to be anything fancy or anything. I'm not trying to make it perfect. It's just going to be on the outside of the bag, and one will be on the inside and one will be on the outside. So I don't really need to lock it. Let's see. Alrighty. But this way we have to pull up our bottom bobbin thread in order to lock it into place. Alrighty, so now let's try it. Hopefully my hand is not in the way right offhand. Okay, now I've locked it. So now we can get going. But anyway, so the thing about the gas station, so I said, well, so how much was the belt? Oh my gosh. This belt, and I don't know, I want to think it's the timing belt. But it is twice the price that it was a few years ago when I either had one changed in this exact car or my daughter had it changed in her car. But anyway, of course, I didn't have the money with me. And he showed us the picture, and oh my gosh, when I see something like that, it's like, I don't want to be driving around on it. It looked so worn that it could, a little bit of pressure, it could pop. I'd have been stuck somewhere. So anyway, my granddaughter says, I have the money, Grandma. I'll go ahead and do it. I'll loan you the money to do it. Let's go ahead and do it. And I said, okay. We go ahead and we get it done. We leave. Not a day goes by. And I mean, not a day. The very next day, we went somewhere, like right down the road for something. I think we just ran up to the store real quick. I'll be darned if the engine light didn't come on. Now, I've never had the engine light come on this car before. This car's got, what has it got on it? I want to think, if I'm not mistaken, it's got, let's see, it's a 2003. It's a Toyota, and it has the original mileage. I believe my fiance was the second person that ever owned it, and it has 53,000 miles on it. So it has been kept up. It goes regularly in for the oil, for the flushes, like the radiator and all that kind of stuff. So it's been maintained, okay? And since I've never had one of those lights on, people say different things, those lights are for whatever, So I take it in and I said, so my light just came on. I said, what is that? What's it representing? And he goes, well, it's going to need a diagnostic, and it's normally electrical, something like that. It's not like your, it's not your oil level, your steering wheel fluid, anything like that at all, okay? So I said, okay, well, what does that diagnostic test cost? He said $60. Oh my God, I didn't even have $60. I said, okay, I got to come back after payday to get the diagnostic test done. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm going on a sled going downhill. Anyway, so my payday was Friday. I go in there, I take it, and I said I wanted to do this diagnostic test. And he come up and told me that he goes, you've probably never heard of this. And it was called something with the word charcoal in it. And he said, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, these are very expensive. And so I said, and I've gone to this place enough times, they know that I ask a bunch of questions because I'm not a mechanic and I don't know anything about cars and, your basic stuff that you would know, but when something's got to be changed or replaced, I want to know what it is. Because at the time that I got this diagnostic test, not the test yet, but before I got it, I asked the question. I said, when I was asking him, what all is it? And he said it was up underneath the hood, whatever it is, it's not your fluids and everything. He said it could be easy as spark plugs. And I'm thinking, gosh, if it could only be that easy. But anyway, so he says to me, he goes, he gave it the name and everything, wrote it up on a piece of paper. The labor was $120 to put it in. The product, or the item, or whatever the heck you call this thing, is $657. And I said, well, what is this thing? And he said, it is next to your catalytic converter. I said, next to my catalytic converter? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, so what's the purpose of this? And he said, what it does is when the gas goes through it, it cleans it. I guess when your car is running, is the only thing I can figure, the stuff that comes out the back, the exhaust and everything, is cleaner than it would normally be. Because in this state that I live in, we have to have an emissions test every 2 years so that the quality of the air is better. So I went, oh, and he goes, now if you've got an emissions test coming up, you're going to flunk it. So if you're going to do that, and I said, no, I don't have one coming up right offhand. He goes, well, then don't worry about it. It's not like you're not going to break down due to this. That's not what this is. But you're going to want to get it changed before that. But anywho, so it's just been like a hectic day. And then when I tried to do this video, I had started this video before I left. And then while I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm thinking about this video, how even this video wasn't going well to begin with. And then I got to thinking I need to change my video up a bit. So that's why I'm focusing on this one thing. I felt like I had too much stuff I was telling you I mean, I can do more than one video, you know, in a different way to make this coin purse. I'm calling it a coin purse. It's not necessarily a coin purse. But I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. I would tell you about my day so far. So, of course, you know, on the way back, I had, they had a, oh, what is it? I guess I got a special. Now, I don't know if this is a special all over the place, but Dunkin Donuts has a special going on right now. For up until March 23rd, they have their little munchkins. I always call them donut hoes, but I was told, no, that's not what they're called. Don't call them donut hoes. And that's essentially what they are. But anyway, so they're like 10 for $2 or something like that. And I think it takes, now if I'm not mistaken, somewhere I saw it takes 3 donut holes, equivalent of 3 donut holes to become 1 donut. So a donut cost over $1 something just for 1 donut. So I thought, well, shoot, that'd be a pretty good deal, because I had mentioned it to my granddaughter the other day, and she goes, wow, that'd be nice if you get us some donut holes. But don't call them that. They're those little munchkins. I said, okay, fine. So I went ahead and I went over there, and the first thing I said, I don't know about you guys, but do you all drink their, you know, their actual coffees and everything? I kid you not, there is not a coffee one of whatever their flavors or whatever. And I've never liked cold coffee. I don't know, I just can't stand it. I don't know why. The only thing cold it seems that I like is either a soda or tea, but coffee, forget it. So anyway, and I'm talking like iced coffee, not that your coffee cooled off. I can handle that a little bit until it gives me indigestion. But anyway, so I said to them, because this is March now, I said, you guys still have that pumpkin spice, the hot coffee? And she goes, yeah, we still got it. And I said, okay, for some reason that is the only thing that I can stand at Dunkin Donuts, and I don't know why. Now, it used to be, it was just recently, it seemed to have gotten too sweet on me. I don't know if they started putting more sugar in it or what they did. Now, my daughter can drink her coffee just with cream, and my sister can drink it just with cream, and you don't need to add any sugar. But I've always had to put sugar and cream together. I don't know why, because I can't taste the flavor, and it's got to be my taste buds or something. But I normally cannot taste the flavor of the sugar that's in the cream. And I know there's got to be some kind of sugar in a cream, but anyway. So I said, okay, I'll take one of them. So that's what I ended up getting myself, was the coffee. But anyway, so I'm drinking that while I'm up here sewing. That made my day a lot better, because they normally don't have it in March. And like I said, it's the only thing I bought from them. I've never even bought a hot chocolate from them, because usually when they tell me they don't have this pumpkin spice anymore, I just quit buying the coffee there. They do, they're, like, sometimes their muffins are kind of, I don't know, I know they're fresh, because this one's always making stuff fresh right here by me. But sometimes they feel like they're kind of hard or something. But anyway, so I got this one, this pumpkin spice drink with no sugar. But I'm going to tell you what, it sure does taste like it's got a lot of sugar in it. I've even come home and made my own coffee, black coffee. I just make, you know, I can't even think of the name of the brand of coffee that I get. Mountain something. But anyway, I like I don't like a dark coffee. I never could do the dark stuff. But anyway, my dad's the one that got me with the sugar and the cream started. As a matter of fact, it was my sister and I that drank our coffee with sugar and cream as kids. And I think she can do hers black now, or she can do it with cream only. But like I said, she can taste all that sugar that's in that cream, and I can't taste that. So my taste buds are a little bit different. There's lots of things I don't even like that everybody else seems to like. But anyway, so I'm enjoying my coffee while I'm doing this. Now, it's not as if this needed to be done, because when you think about it, once you've ironed this on, it's kind of flat, excuse me, kind of stiff, but I just wanted to make this design on there just for myself. And there's a little bit of yellow of the color like this thread in this design, and that's why I chose it. Otherwise, I probably would have just went with a white, but it's just doing something different is all. So go ahead, if you're following me with this, go ahead and finish yours up. I'm going to stop here, turn off the video, finish this up. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side also before we move on to the next part of putting this together. Now for the brown one, I decided to go ahead and do that. It's called a Some people call it the curve. It's the serpentine stitch that goes back and forth. It asks for the end foot. I'm going to show you what it does. Now I've got mine on the width of 7.0, and I'm just starting it out to find out if I want to go wider, not wider, but longer in length. So what I'll do is I'll just put two next to each other. But as far as the width, the 7.0 is the largest width. I had to change my plate because I had the single hole plate is what I call it for up and down stitches. And as soon as I tried to switch it to this stitch, it told me that I needed to change my foot because it would not proceed. Otherwise, it would have broken my needle. Let me see what I can do for my length. Oh, I can do quite a bit for the length. So let's go up to 2 inches for the length so I have an idea. And they don't need to be real close or anything, because when you think about it, I'm not having to actually hold this fabric down. I'm only doing it for just to make a design on the outside of this. A 2.0 in the length. Let me see if you can even see it. Hold on. Okay, so you can see this one here, the smaller one on the left or the bottom, is what the sewing machine is set up, and I put the length on 2.5 for the top one. So we're going to go ahead and put it on the 4. And then we'll take a look at that. Now you can see here's the 4, the 2.5, and what the machine is set on to begin with. Now you want this to be a 5 by 10. So I'm going to get 2 so that I can have 2 different little bags, little coin purses, and one will have the cream on the outside and one will have the brown. I don't think it has to be perfect. Okay, so now what I've got is I can have them like this, like that there. Okay, so I'll have that. And all right, now the zipper is only going to go across here, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Kathy, you're wasting that big old long zipper. Well, first off, this zipper came off of Amazon, so it was super duper cheap. That's the first thing. So you want to make sure your zipper fits, because this is where you're going to shut it. So it has to be at least this length. Whatever you're making, this is a 5-inch, and I would go with a 7-inch zipper just to make sure you have enough. Don't go from these two ends, from that end to that end. Go from this end here, where this zipper's at, right here. So start it right there and measure down to the end until you got the end of this, and have that be 7 inches. Okay, this is all extra so that it fits across here correctly. Alright, so the next step, I got my clips out because I'm going to use my clips. You're going to take your outside of your fabric, and you're going to face it upward. You're going to take your zipper and you're going to lay it down on it so you're matching the raw side of the zipper with the raw side of the fabric. You're going to put a clip on it. You're going to take your inside lining piece, whatever you're using, and you're going to also put it on there. And we're trying to match up the raw sides right here. If you need to pin it, then you can pin it. And I've got it as matched up here. I've overextended my zipper. There we go, the best I can. Okay, and I'm going to put a clip on this side. If I can pick it up. And then you're going to put your zipper foot for your machine. Now here's the part that's got the head on it way up here. Don't worry about it, because remember, now I'm using a bigger oversized zipper. You don't need to do that. You can use the exact one that I told you. Make it about a 7-inch, 8-inch. If you use this and you don't have any of the little zipper pulls, then, I mean, if you're thinking about getting them for the future, then go ahead and save whatever you cut off there. So whatever's left over here, if you use too big of a zipper, it's going to end up being trash for you. All right, so we're going to change out to the zipper foot for the sewing machine. If you've got a zipper foot, you need to do that also, and then we're going to sew our seam on here. Okay, so take a look at this zipper foot. I'm going to get me a stylus right here to show you. Here's a spot for the needle to go down on the right hand side. Whoops. and here's a spot on the left-hand side for the needle to go down. So this is, you have to choose the right or the left side based on how you sew. Alrighty? And even though we're two different hands, right-handed or left-handed, you still sew a specific way. So if I'm going to put my fabric on here like this, because my zipper's on the left, then I'm going to sew over here on this side. I wouldn't want my needle to come down on that side, because then too much of this foot is over the top of this part of the zipper right here, which will cause a problem. See, this is where the two pieces meet right here. You don't want your zipper foot on top of that. You want it up against it. So that's what you got to be thinking of when you're putting your zipper foot on. Now, you may have a different zipper foot altogether, and I don't have the other one that goes with my other machine. And it actually goes on the foot. It goes on up here, and it goes to the right or the left, and you actually put the little screw, you tighten the screw in the back. Now, this is the standard zipper foot that comes on a lot of the new models. I have a smaller one, and let me get it and show it to you. Okay, so here's my smaller one. It still has the area here, whoops, the area here for the needle and the area over there. It's just that the foot is a lot narrower, so this piece here is narrow, and it can get up against the side of the zipper. Let me back this up a minute. That is the way that that one would be laying on there. See how it doesn't touch this part right here? It's still on there. If I was to be on this side, that would be even closer to the teeth right here where your zipper open and shut. So it just depends on yourself. Now, this zipper, I could actually use the right or the left, but it would be barely catching it if I used this right-hand side and had my needle go up and down here. Look at the distance. It would be here for the stitch instead of up here. And you want to get it as close as you can without getting it onto the zipper teeth. Alrighty? And keep in mind about your fabric too, because if you get it too close, your zipper won't open because the fabric will get hung up in it.